Welcome back, everybody. Hell of a show today. We've got Meghan exposed. There was an airport meltdown. There's copycat things. It's insane. I got some other stuff on the TIG. We also got the poor York girls about to be homeless, Crimea River. And Harry paid $1 million. I don't know where the hell he got that from, but here's the rundown. That's right. We've got number one, Meghan, the ultimate copycat in the airport meltdown. Number two, Harry's $1 million receipt in the Invictus Summer Games gamble. We've got Beatrice and Eugenie's palace eviction crisis. That's going to be a good one. And of course, we've got Prince George's school dilemma. Where's he going to go? I don't know. And of course, at the end, we've got Doug's deep thoughts. And just trust me on this, they ain't that deep. To help me break it all down, we have got your favorite and mine, Kinzarella. Hello, my gorgeous. How are you?
I'm here to defend Doug.
Well, listen, he's had a hell of a morning, and
I love Doug.
His deep thoughts went cross-eyed today. He sat there as I went back to a natural blonde, and he was sitting there for an hour and a half going, rolling around in somebody else's cut hair. It was a real fun time, Kens. But let's get down to it, shall we? We've got Meghan, both of our favorites. She's pretty amazing. We've got her copycats. And now, for a while, everyone always said she was copying Catherine. Then she copies this person, that person. Angelina Jolie, of course. But here's the real person she's copycatting. Yeah. She is copycatting Emma Thin, the Marchioness of Bath. So you'll remember on the far right of your screen, her cooking show, The Garden Party. Well, it turns out she took that exact look from Emma's cooking show, which she did 3 or 4 years earlier. And then the green dress that she wore for Netflix. I mean, the one, that she used the old five-finger discount from a photo shoot. Yeah. Turns out Emma actually bought and paid for it and wore it a year before. Are you shocked, Kens?
Well, the Emma comparisons have been existing for quite some time, but I think that they were thrust back into, for years, but I think that they were thrust back into our face when we realized how close Lady Emma was with Venus and Serena Williams around the Met Gala. And seeing Emma truly living out the Meghan Markle dream on full display in real time versus years ago when we were going, that's interesting. Meghan seems to be trying to copy this individual. Also, she's really having a moment right now because Ladies of London is a lot of fun. Emma's a standout on that show. She is she has the biggest moral compass. I know, I love it too. She stays above the fray. Everyone else seems to be a poser in this world that they're documenting, except for Lady Emma. And so I understand why these comparisons have reached the surface again, but I think that they're unfair to Lady Emma. Lady Emma's entire objective is to support the traditions that she married into, to support the estate. She is really utilizing the attention she's attracting to support the heritage in her family and the history and the traditions that she married into. Whereas Meghan Markle is just using the Jam, the TV shows and all of this to promote herself. Yeah.
And it's funny because, yes, you and other people out there got it. And we're like, hey, what about this? But then when you see these photos, again, I got to bring it up side by side. It's literally the exact same outfits, which I think is so bizarre. However, so yeah, I might be late to the party. I still like looking at this.
You're right that everybody's talking about it again and everybody's going, no, this is weird. And why isn't it not more mainstream?
Well, and I guess Meghan kind of relied on the fact that Emma was in the background for a while, at least in the States, right? Now, Emma also has a Nigerian father. She's got a white mother. Opposite for Meghan, she's a white father. Black mother who is 12% Nigerian. So, I think Meghan basically looked at this girl and was like, I'm going to copy this and replicate this in the States. Except for Emma seems to be the real deal, and unlike Meghan has said, oh, the racism in the royal family. And we all went, huh? Charles walked you down the aisle, girl. What you talking about?
Mhm.
Then you got Emma, whose mother-in-law was disinvited from her wedding by her husband because the mother-in-law actually made racist comments and didn't
Mhm.
want her son marrying a Black woman. So
Mhm.
on one hand, you've got the real deal. And on the other hand, you've got Meghan trying to copy the real deal, but it's kind of like the Temu version.
Always with her. It's always with her. Also, again, we're looking at Emma and we're looking at what her ultimate objective is. Meghan, there are such weird mysteries surrounding the whereabouts of these dogs Meghan rescued. How did her dog break its legs in London? And then we've got Emma, who's erected an entire rescue on her estate. Like,
Mhm.
she's got rescue animals left and right. And she's, you see how empathetic and compassionate she is towards these animals in the videos she posts of them. And it's a we overuse this word when we're trying to discuss Meghan Markle, but there's really no way around it. It's the lack of authenticity.
Yeah,
We
even
see
though,
with
by the way, she likes to think she's the queen of
Yes.
authenticity.
Yes, she
I'm authentically blurs. It's Montecito binge.
Yeah.
But I also, I'll never forget when she moved to England to be with Harry and she got rid of a dog
Mhm.
because the
Left it
dog
in
had
Canada.
not warmed to Harry. Now, listen, if Doug doesn't warm to you, okay, but I ain't
Bye.
getting rid of Doug.
Yeah.
Like you're just gonna have to wear shin guards.
Exactly. It also, you have, like, I don't know, 16 bathrooms. You have a big enough property in Montecito, and you would have had a bigger enough property in London or in the UK for your dog to have its own
Yeah.
space away from Harry if necessary. That was a totally selfish, just vile move by Meghan, and it tells us that she isn't this. And remember too, I think she fought so hard for that specific dog because
Mm.
Ellen DeGeneres had suggested at an event, at some celebrity event for this rescue.
Mhm.
Ellen was like, "Yo, you should get that dog." Meghan wanted that story. Meghan wanted that story so she could repeat it to everyone that she met.
Mhm.
"I got this dog because Ellen DeGeneres told me." So she could name drop, but ultimately she didn't take care of the dog. She abandoned that dog because Meghan, in my opinion, completely lacks a heart and soul unless you smell like a dollar.
Yeah. Oh, the dollar. Hold on. Nope, not
No.
there. My bad. All right. Well, you're going to love this. This just hit TikTok today. Hold on. Yeah.
Stank face.
It's some serious stank face. So this is up on a TikTok from a woman named Tyla. Let me read to you the caption. It's a long one. Awkward airport moment. Meghan Markle reportedly caught off guard after being denied special treatment.
Hmm.
An uncomfortable scene is said to have unfolded when Meghan Markle appeared visibly unsettled after airport staff allegedly declined to offer the preferential treatment she was expecting. According to witnesses, she was instead directed to join the standard passenger queue like everybody else, with
Wow.
no upgrades, no special protocol, and none of the royal courtesy she may have anticipated. Observers claim Meghan quietly conferred with an aide. By quietly, I mean the aide probably had, drills born into her. As it became clear, the usual privileges were not being extended this time, while nearby travelers began to notice the tense atmosphere building. The subtle but striking shift in dynamics quickly became a talking point among those present. Now, some insiders suggest the low key decision behind the incident may have carried a deeper message, one that was never intended to be openly acknowledged. What really happened at that airport? So Kins, let me just let's just go through this for a minute for people who don't know. You know, last weekend, whatever. Recently, I was in the Turks and Caicos for the celebrity opening of the beaches. All right. And there were all those people there, like Jesse Eisenberg, Chad Michael Murray, Nicola Reeve, Boris Kajo, blah, blah, blah. And let me tell you what happens when you have special protocol or special things happen. You don't wait in line. You go up to the desk. They usher you straight onto the plane. You get in your seat, usually first class or business. And then coming off the plane, they whisk you away the second you come off, and you get hustled right through customs or through whatever. Now, this, I believe, was on the way back from Geneva. Turns out Elton John's not lending the plane anymore.
Or Tyler Perry.
Or Tyler Perry. Oh, yeah, no, Tyler Perry was like, I'm done. That's a lot of jet fuel, man. But it is interesting that, what was it, American Airlines? They ain't having it no more. They might have given her a card signed by Richie Rich.
Yeah,
But
I think that was BA. That was
BA.
British Airways. Yeah.
You're
Well,
right,
look,
sorry.
I'm gonna be on. You're right. Your protocol is absolutely correct for how it works if you're an
Mhm.
A-lister. Am I cynical about the story? I believe the pictures. I see the pictures. Am I cynical about the story behind the pictures? I am, and I will tell you why. And I
Please
think
do.
because you know me in real life, you will know what I'm referencing here. But there are a
Mhm.
lot of people, new faces that have popped up that are making things up because they are riding the Meghan train. And so I think we need to be cautious and careful when we read something to find sources, find other stories that support what people are saying. And in this case, if Meghan is having to wait with the peasants to board her flight, I believe there would be other pictures of Meghan Markle in a waiting area, in a line. I think that we would see that. Are these unflattering of Meghan, and does she look like she's losing patience? Absolutely. I will agree with that. Do I think she's a diva at the airport? I know she is. Do I think that she was forced to wait with the peasants? I'm not necessarily sure of that story. And I'm just saying, I'm seeing a lot of new people popping up and making like wild accusations. Just be cautious when you read those before repeating them, and check with someone like Paula and I and listen to our dissection of some of these stories. But that's why I'm cynical. Do you know what I mean? I need a little something else. I need to see Meghan Markle like next to the Southwest Airlines, like group
Okay.
one photo. You know what I mean?
I would pay for that. If somebody has Meghan in line at Southwest Airline looking at her aide going, you know, "Send
But
for
yeah,
me."
unflattering photo. Is she perturbed? I believe she is perturbed, but do I believe the whole spiel? Not so much.
Oh, but you know what I got that is full on, eh.
Mm,
Well, so the TIG, remember her whole thing? The TIG, the TIG, the TIG. It was a blog, for Christ's sake, and
yeah.
it never got that big, but for her, it was successful. It made her name in Canada
Mhm.
for what that's worth.
No, Paula,
However,
you and I know exactly what it was. It was a way for Meghan Markle to get freebies. It was a way
yes.
for Meghan Markle to get free things. She was personally emailing Bobbi Brown Cosmetics saying, I'm
Mhm.
Meghan. I'm on this show you've never heard of called Suits. I have this beauty blog. I have this lifestyle blog. Would you please send me free product? Meghan Markle got thousands of dollars worth of free product because of the TIG. It also allowed her to differentiate herself from just being the actress from Suits. She could go, well, I'm
Mhm.
also an influencer. I have a blog. To which Buckingham Palace said, shut it down. It's not that important. It's not that serious.
Well, and also
But
they
yeah,
said, "We don't do freebies, Lady Bird.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
supposed to pay because TikTok, we're wealthy." And
yeah.
um, however, Kins, if you want to get freebies, guess whose trademark is now available?
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, the TIG trademark has lapsed. Anyone out there is welcome to go get the new trademark for the TIG. And I went online to see what else is going on. The-tig.com is available, the tig.net, the tig.org, the
Mm.
tig.blog, the TIG. It's available. So, you never know, honey.
What does that say to you? Does that say to you that she is
It says it's messy. It says it's messy because frankly, it's not that much money to keep
secure?
the trademark up so nobody can get on your stuff. You have sites like Montecito Minimalist that really just takes the mickey out of Meghan, rightfully so. And frankly, any of us could start thetig.com, get the trademark for a couple $100 and just start taking the mickey again.
But what does it say to you about her or her not continuing to hold on to it? Is blogging too hard work for her? Is it too much work? When you're doing so much to try to become an influencer, you've got this new app, this new AI app where you're linking your horrific Bondi Beach shooting wardrobe. When you're trying to move product like jam, having a blog like the TIG makes strategical sense in the digital space to promote all of those things. I'm wondering if she's had a discussion with her team about the direction she wants to go, and she is saying goodbye to blogging, goodbye to that influencer space. But then I look at Geneva and I go, well, certainly this isn't the path you think is going to rescue you. Because
all she is an influencer now. She's barely a celebrity. So it goes royals, A-list through Z-list, celebrity, then influencer. She's teetering off the Z-list into an influencer. But for me, I think she should have just kept it up so that people like, I don't know, UI or Stanley over here.
just to protect yourself. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I agree. I just let lapse asever.sucks. I had asever.sucks and it would just forward you to my website, but they wanted an ungodly amount of money to keep it. And since I didn't promote it, I was like, I don't need to keep this. This is stupid. But asever.sucks used to take you to my website.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also not your livelihood or what your entire image is built on.
But if you think about it, if we really think about it, the TIG is not one of those anchors that she uses in the storytelling of her history. Like it could be, it should be, but it's Rodney freaking King, who just must be so sick of hearing us talk about him. Like, what did I do to you? Rodney King. It's the damn soap commercial. It's it's who did she speak? What was the speech she gave in front of Hillary Clinton? Was it UN Women's? Was she a UN Women's ambassador?
Yeah, no, she doesn't like UN women anymore.
She doesn't like them anymore, but she'll talk about how she gave a speech in front of Hillary Clinton. Like there are certain things that she repeats ad nauseum, but the TIG is not something that she is trying to, in the rewriting of her history that we've watched over last 6 years. It doesn't seem to be I agree that she should have kept it to protect herself, but I also have observed that for some reason it's not one of those focal points. She wants to be remembered for like going and building water wells in foreign countries, despite the fact that those were just glorified photo shoots for her and things like that.
Now she wants to be known for that. But what she really wanted to be known for was being a Hollywood power player, and that didn't go well. So now she's going to try to do this, but somebody should warn her. She's trying to be Angelina Jolie. She's got the AJ playbook, but Angelina Jolie broke. She don't make no money off of that.
Also, Angelina Jolie would have never shared 20 never before seen pictures of a wedding before with us. She just is, you know what I mean? Like I always use her as an example of how I think I'm surprised. You're right. I mean, she's, I wouldn't say Angelina Jolie is the same movie star that she was today, but the same movie star that she used to be today. But I do still admire her in the sense that there is a mystique and a mystery around her that she's jeopardized through all these court cases with Brad Pitt. But I don't know who she is. I don't know a lot about her life. And I miss feeling that way watching movie stars. I miss not knowing. I just watched Penn Badgley talk about how he watches Timothée Chalamet movies and is like, look at Timmy, because celebrity culture has changed for the worse, you know, like
Yeah.
we know too much about people. So it's hard to escape in movies and
Oh,
TV shows. And I totally agree with that. And Meghan Markle doesn't realize that what makes the royal family so interesting and appealing is the mystery that surrounds them. And Prince William and Catherine are doing a really good job of dancing, you
oh.
know, on the tightrope. But Meghan is oblivious. Like she's like, no, no,
Mhm.
no, I'm gonna tell you more because if I tell you more, you'll like me. If you know this about me, you'll like me. Then I'm gonna tell you this because you didn't like me when I told you that thing, but you'll like me when I tell you this thing. And it's like, well, first of all, everything you say contradicts
Yes.
itself.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Well, you know what I'm interested in? Hold on, we're going to the next one. We are on Harry's $1 million receipt in the Invictus summer gamble. So I did a recent video about the charity gamble, the
Yeah.
crisis charity PRBS. You know, you're in trouble, you do this, and the difference between pledging and actually sending the check and having it deposited. So a lot of
Amber,
people,
we learned that lesson through Amber Heard, didn't we?
oh, yes, we did. So a lot of people were saying, well, you know, Harry said he gave 1 million to children in need, da da da. So I was like, all right, let's go see if it's actually a pledge or it's been donated. And I'm happy to note it, in fact, has been donated. The check was sent, the money is cashed, it is in the pockets of children in need. So good for you, Harry. I'm excited for you. However, we got some other stuff coming up
We
with
should
you.
we should acknowledge that that very likely was an accounting referral
Mhm.
for tax purposes, but yes,
Thank you.
congratulations, Prince Harry.
Thank you. You are not incorrect. It was also done for PR. We need good PR. Also, we need $1 million off our taxes. So,
Mm.
but the money, they said they'd give the money, they gave the money, and let's give credit where it's due. And now we come to Invictus. The ultimate test is coming this summer. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think that Meghan and the kids will come?
I don't, because I think Prince Harry's using Meghan and the children to blackmail his father, and I
Mhm.
think look, I'm gonna repeat something, and I'm hesitating to repeat it
Oh,
because I've
please
only
do.
heard it from one person that I trust, but I'll
Mhm.
tell you who I heard it from. Tom Bower told me that Queen Camilla is not doing very well health-wise.
Queen Camilla? What's wrong
Yes.
with her?
Um, I've heard this from I'm not sure, and so I hesitate to, like, get too far into, like, what I've heard, but he like, just to say something as cleanly as I feel comfortable saying it, he said that Queen Camilla's not at her peak right now. King Charles, has cancer, and he's getting
Mhm.
weekly treatments in London. Andrew is driving the king absolutely crazy, the trouble he continues to find himself in. And I
Mhm.
don't think that the king has the patience for Harry's BS. I think he has so much on his plate, and that Harry trying to blackmail the king with a Meghan and children appearance is just probably
Yeah.
incredibly insulting to King Charles, just like beneath him.
Mhm. I agree. I agree. That is also insane to me. Gosh, I hope she's okay. I know how people feel about Camilla, but
Yeah.
I've said it once and I'll say it again. She's good fun to be around, and Joan Rivers, who was a good friend of mine, loved her.
Yeah.
So
And
if
she's
Joan
been
loved
good
you,
for King Charles. She's been
yes.
really good for King Charles.
And you know what? If Joan liked you, I liked you.
Yeah.
Joan actually had a great, great people radar.
Mhm.
So, you know, I ain't mad at that. But
Selena Gomez, she clocked you real quick, Selena
yes,
Gomez.
she did. Although, to be fair, Selena's grown up a bit, you know, blah, blah. But, you know, it is interesting because Harry and Meghan both are desperado to get some royal action, you know,
Mhm.
and we all know Harry's going over. He's going to go beg corporations for sponsors for Invictus Birmingham, which is not going well, BT dubs. And, you know, they only have like $4 million from unidentified corporate sponsors. Meanwhile, the British government is giving £29 million, and corporate and private people are supposed to make up and basically match what the government is doing. They are nowhere near to matching.
Good luck.
Yeah, you're not kidding. I mean,
Senabale, has the research that shows that people are less willing to donate to Harry and Meghan's causes because they don't like Harry and Meghan.
yeah, exactly. And it's a huge problem. And, for those of you watching, I have done several shows on Invictus finances, including one specifically on Birmingham Invictus and them not being able to hire people. They have openings, they have constant shuffling of jobs, and they also have a major gaps in funding. And I do think that the games will likely go off. Likely. There's a good chance it might not, actually, because I'm also hearing after this Invictus Birmingham that it is going to be probably over for Invictus, especially.
I believe that. I don't think that the king would allow Harry to fail in the UK. So I do think that behind the scenes, they would, if they caught wind that things were going south, I do think that the king has a soft enough heart that he might move some pieces around, make some calls, whisper in a few people's ears. Yes, to ensure that it came to fruition in the UK. I do. I think that he wouldn't want Harry to fail in the UK. Why? Because he would feel like it reflected poorly on him, the king. I'm not saying that it's for Harry's benefit, but I think that perhaps he would be fearful that it would reflect poorly. The same way he's so fearful that Andrew won't be prosecuted for anything, and it will reflect poorly on him. People will accuse him of protecting his brother. I think he would fear that it looked like he sabotaged Harry in the UK and doesn't want that juju.
See, I disagree with you on that, because I think King Charles doesn't want Andrew prosecuted. I think he wants the police to look into it and then be like, nope, not enough. Sorry. Whoops.
He's afraid that it will look like he protected his brother, or he stepped in and did something and there will be angry people that accuse them of privilege.
True.
And I don't think he wants to deal with that. And it's definitely not fair to leave something like that for William to have to navigate either. So
that's true.
But I do agree with you that after Birmingham, I know that they have decided where they would go next, but I don't know if, we're watching major leadership leave, we're watching major sponsors disappear, and we're hearing Invictus participants complaining about Harry and Meghan's participation or involvement, and how Meghan is such a distraction from the games. Something has to change if it wants to continue on a positive path.
You're not kidding. All right, next up, we have got Beatrice and Eugenie's palace eviction crisis. Oh my God. I mean, look at this. First, we've got part-time Kensington Palace has been home to, they both have apartments in Kensington Palace, by the way. Peppercorn rent, we know what that means. And then, of course, we've got Beatrice also has an apartment at St. James Palace. I mean, it's insane, because Eugenie and Jack Brooksbank, I always get so many S's in there, Jack Brooksbank, live in Portugal full time. And okay, they get to keep a little place in Kensington. Yeah, all right, I guess. Why? Now, meanwhile, Beatrice and her count, and I use that term very loosely, have a place in St. James, but they live in the Cotswolds. And, I think the British taxpayers are just getting really fed up at this point, and I don't blame them.
I'm fed up for them.
Yes, thank you. It's like, Wait, we gotta pay for what?
Yeah.
Wait, we
Who?
You're
Yeah.
paying 30 pounds a year, what? Or
Well,
how
and
much?
when and they these 2 will not be, transparent when it comes to their finances, but
Mm-mm.
when we do see headlines about random checks or random events that they're paid for, they're ungodly. They're the type they're making appearance fees that it costs somebody to put their children through school for 1 year, and that's one
Yep,
appearance fee for them in the Middle East, and that's unacceptable. So,
yep.
no, I don't think the taxpayers should continue to pay for them. I have received some heat for my disdain for Beatrice and Eugenie. I'm sorry, but if you pursue spending time with somebody convicted of being a sex offender after their release, I don't have a lot of respect for you. I've
No.
loathed Eugenie ever since I saw her sitting next to Prince Harry at the Super Bowl watching uh, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg break down the Super Bowl halftime show.
The best
Um,
Super Bowl halftime show ever,
it
I
was
might
pretty
add.
good. It was pretty solid. But yeah, I don't like these girls. I think that there's no way. I don't think you should be punished for the sins of your mother and your father, but I do think that they realized that some of their associates were up to no good and didn't hesitate to cash checks from them, in my opinion. And I think that they should not continue to receive the rewards that come
Mhm.
with working royals. They're not working royals, and they're not contributing in a positive way. They're just contributing negatively to
Well,
negative
and
headlines.
now they're not even, related to a prince anymore because he ain't no prince. And
Mhm.
what's so interesting is when they lost me? They lost me when Prince William and the palace basically came out and said, "All right, here, we're gonna give you some auditors. Open your books, be transparent." They went, "No, no, we're fine." And then that was right before they went off to the Middle East and did a bunch of meetings, winks, some teased with the 0.001% of Saudi society. And Andrew Lowney has also come out and really talked about and written in his book about how they also will accept gifts, including necklaces that, like if I gave you a necklace, trust me, it's going to be like a ribbon and some sort
You're
of
giving me
pendant.
a lobster pin.
That's true. You are joining the Order of the Lobster.
Yes.
Um, and I will say, you'll get it the Order of the Lobster pin, and it's probably not gonna be real gold. So sorry about that. It might look like it.
Yeah.
But it's just they're getting hundreds of thousands of pounds to just trade off their name, not unlike their mother and their father did.
Or
And
Harry
they
and
were
Meghan. Or Harry and Meghan.
exactly. And I just think, you know what? At least have the balls to pay rent. And I
Mhm,
admire William and Catherine for saying we're paying market rent. We're paying 400 grand a year for this insane palace we want to live in for the rest of our lives.
mhm,
Thanks. That's all we ask. And they are working royals. And
mhm.
if you're a working royal, maybe you could have your housing a deal thrown in, not the peppercorn that Edward and Sophie pay for their massive, massive, massive estate. But it's just a lot of balls, man. It's a lot
Do
of
you
balls
think
with
that
this
they
thing.
should give up their titles in the way Andrew Lowney says they should?
Oh, hell yeah. Of
Me
course they
too.
should. I
I
mean,
really do too.
here's the deal. They won't because they are huge snobs. They also gave Kate a lot of hell in the early Catherine a lot of hell in the early years.
Mhm.
I mean, they're huge snobs. That's their entire identity.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Eugenie would
Wait, did
before
you are
Princess.
you did watch Ladies of London?
Yeah, obviously.
Oh my god, the first 3 episodes where they're accusing Beatrice's husband's ex of
Vera Wang.
being a madam, I was like, "I can't believe she would open herself up to this,
Yeah. Yeah.
because this jeopardizes her relationship with the royal family. To be accused of being a madam on Bravo, I was deceased, but I loved
Well,
every second of it. I
and
loved every
also, by
second
the
of it."
way, no offense, I would have been I guess they did what they did with the housewives because in the housewives, you have to sign something you won't sue each other.
Yeah.
But I would have sued the heck out of anybody who pulled that BS,
Well, and
you
then she
know?
just quits, which doesn't it's not a great look to just quit the show and be like, "Okay, I didn't sign up for this."
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
I
didn't
would
sign
have
up, by the way,
paid
for being a mean queen, like a little nasty schoolgirl who just looks like the worst person ever. I was kinda
I would
sad
have
when
pleaded my I would have used all season to be like, "Look, I'm not a madam.
yeah.
Heidi Fleiss, I am not," and then I wouldn't have shown up for season 2, but to just dip out the way she did, I don't think that there's an editing connoisseur in the world that could have made her look less guilty. I mean, they could have tried, but she just disappears, and that's totally bizarre.
I mean, it would fit in with the whole Edo kind of that
Vibe?
segment of the family vibe.
Yeah.
But,
Allegedly,
you know,
supposedly, yeah,
to
reportedly.
be fair, I think she quit more because she looked like see you next Tuesday
Yeah.
by being a really horrible friend and yeah,
Lying.
yeah, lying, doing all this stuff, getting caught and being like, "Ugh, forget it."
"I
Nah,
never said that." Cut to her saying
cut
that.
to her saying that. It was amazing. If you guys haven't watched it, you totally should. All
Yes.
right, we are gonna round this off with hold on, George. Oh my god, where's this kid going to school? Look at this. Everyone is obsessed. And I think I let me find this little image because y'all got to see this. It's the Daily Mail did a great job of putting up. Here we go. Boom, boom. Yeah, there we are. Where is George going to school? Is it going to be Northamptonshire? Is it Highgate? Is it Marlborough? Is it Eton? Is it Wellington? We do know that he is semi doing half board, half not at Lambrook, where his brother and sister go. But I think Lambrook doesn't cut through all high school or whatever they call it over there. And I've heard he's going to follow his mother, Kate, to Marlborough, but he's also looking at Eton. I mean, either way,
Yeah.
good for him. What do you
Yeah.
think? What are you hearing?
Well, I've heard a couple of things. Yes, to
Tell me.
Catherine's school because Catherine has had very positive experiences there. She was bullied later in life, but think she had a really great experience at this particular school. I've heard something strange. This was from Hugo Vickers. Hugo Vickers told me that potentially Eton would take him and would also take Charlotte in a Eton is
Hmm.
actually all men, but
So
he said
Charlotte would be the only girl?
which they've done in the past. They have taken one girl in the past. I'm not sure about this, but this is coming from Hugo Vickers, who just wrote a really great book on the Queen and has a new movie about Wallace Simpson coming out starring Joan
Right.
Collins this year. So he said that perhaps because Eton would be so close to home, that all of the kids would attend Eton and they would make special arrangements so that they could all go there. And then they're literally
Right.
so close to home that they could stay that tight unit that they have become and that
Right.
they've really become so famous for because it is so foreign compared to all of the other royal families like Prince Charles. Think about him seeing his mother when she comes home from a trip and sticking his hand out to shake her hand instead of
Oh my
embracing her in
god.
a hug. Um,
Ugh.
but, have I'm not as invested in this storyline as other people are. I wanna give them their privacy. Meghan Markle, famously complaining about how her children were not gonna have any privacy if they grew up in the UK, and that's simply not true. We honestly will leave this kid alone. We will find out where he's going to school, and then everybody will be instructed to leave him alone. But, I think he's the second coming of Prince William. He's gonna be so cute, and let's hope he doesn't become like the poster boy that Prince remember the YM magazine with Prince William on the cover? I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
Prince William was such
Ooh.
a hunk, like, growing up.
So
Hopefully,
cute.
hopefully Prince George doesn't have to have that much attention on him, but, I do think that when he becomes a teenager and as he matures and gets older, it will excite a new generation into following the royal family.
I agree. And you know what? Here's the deal. I no way in Sam hell is Charlotte going to go to Eton because Catherine wants her to have friends
Yeah.
and can't have a lot of friends if you're the only girl or you end up being
Unless you're
that
me,
girl.
because most of my friends are boys.
No way. You're not one of those girls. You're a girl's girl too, though.
That's true. Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, that's somebody who, you know, I think they're all going to end up at Marlborough because I also think, to be clear, William has looked at Kate and modeled his family after Catherine's family. And he's like, look how normal they turned out. Look how great they are. And I think he wants that for his family. So good for him. All right. I love you, Kens. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And you guys obviously follow Kinsey on Kinsey Schofield Unfiltered. I will have all of her information in the description. Kens, see you tomorrow, baby.
Bye.
Bye. Whoops. Oh God, I fucked it up again. Hold on, stay here. I gotta get a Dougal. I got to find a video file of the turd photos. Let's get the dog. Okay. Let's open that. Okay. Open. All right. All right, guys, as promised, final word goes to the turd bird. Here we go. Sticking your tongue out. Whoops. Hold on. Okay, guys, as promised, final word goes to Turd Bird, who, for some reason, decided to just stare at me, stick his tongue out at me.
Why are you sticking your tongue out at me? Are you just sitting there literally sticking your tongue out?
I did.
What are you doing?
Oh.
Okay, there we go. I'll give you Megan. You get his chew.
There we go. Deep thoughts from Doug, just sticking his tongue out at me till I give him a chew toy, which just happened to be the Meghan doll. All right, you guys. I just want to say thanks again. I love you. I appreciate you. Like, subscribe. You know, I did the numbers the other day, and 59% of people who watch are not subscribed, which I think is just so crazy. So don't forget, subscribe, like, ring the bell. Boop. All right. Take care, and I will see you soon. I'm going to be moving, so I'll be gone for a couple days, but big old smooches. Bye, guys.